Yes, other for mama nyina kwaba e over platform we so host and IG and I want me about impun. Since I'm no kasi I'm Haurna Idrisu education minister ni accident and ho nsensem and yede brew. So I say I ni esi ye and I yede ebi e brew. Na yen nsensem na so de sanso enfama ho.
Numisi. Minister for Education, Honorable Haurna Idrisu, and a Deputy Minister for Communications and Digital Technology, Honorable Muhammad Adam Susbcribe, involved in a road traffic accident on the Boligatanga Tumu Road today.
Onu say union entafo die silofo die kakra wo mo so enye kakra bi asa Haurna Idrisu maka say the position obi hian to dabosom kese so na the deputy no kan ho so no so sunsun wi aso dabosom kese so
okay
eti ne ho frama na ye dey e bo farm no na ewi ase oni pe bi a obenya accident a wawu no bibi say so kwa bisa ko bu say chire your accident bi o ma onya o kra no etimi firi mu ko na e de ka ene aho chire ene yare aba wo so yo aze bi wo so nya so a okra no ewo mu esu ni pedua no etimi firi asase so yo aze bi wo na se wonya so a sebi okra no ewo mu obi bia intact but also call hospital ko check ni aeko eti honorable Haurna Idrisu the gods of the land ene otwediampo enka ho ene sebi bia wo na bia no ye mpani sei se ba say ya opani kwa bisa me ndi agro me fa no me ndi agro na sebi four corners of the world no ebe na mu ba ko pe na woni ye dey ehwe me nsa na kan no ehwe be fufuro me da so for
yo nti we ye tenkete no o say
Yes, other for yento to ansem ni bi nso de sanso no emfa emamwe so de ase
for alleged vote buying or inducement. Is there going to be any outcome differently from what we've seen, from what you know of the OS's work?
Yeah, the special prosecutor going in there was curious for me. Curious because I was wondering the law on which they were standing. You see, so let's go straight. If you look at the Representation of People's Law, NDC Law 284, it's for public elections, presidential and then parliamentary. But somehow we're lucky that when the special prosecutor took on the Safo Kantanka case somewhere near Kumasi, thereabout, they went to court and the judge allowed it, meaning that when it comes to voting for a DC or confirmation of a DC in a district assembly, it's been considered as public enough because the person is going to public office directly. Because that person has already been what? Nominated or appointed by the president, subject to confirmation by the district assembly. So I can understand why in the Safo Kantanka case, it went through, even though until that case, you would have said that elections or confirmation in a district assembly of a DC or MCE is not a public election, etc., right? But when it comes to party primaries, this one is further afield. It's a bit more distant. It's a bit more distant from the Safo Kantanka case. So I was wondering on what basis the special prosecutor could go in there. I mean, don't get me wrong. We all wish that we would have a law that would explicitly proscribe such vote buying in party primaries. This is not the first time. This debate has been on, as far as I can remember, that was even before I became a lawyer. And so if I can count, this is my 19th year. So that debate is at least 20 years old. It's just like Mr. Okanse, we did the story on it in the course of the week. And I liken this, the call for such a law, to the call for a new code of conduct for public officers, the one that will make sure that when you declare your assets, there would be publication of the assets so that it will help to stem the tide of corruption, right? Yeah, so we all want a new law. That would help because remember that Article 19, Clause 11 of our Constitution says that nothing is a crime unless it's been expressly provided for under the law, blah, 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 punishment, etc. So as we sit now, I'm at a loss as to what law the special prosecutor will use to say that when you bribe in a party primaries, it is corruption, vote buying. Because as I said, the PNDC law 284 is for parliamentary and presidential elections. In actual fact, when we first passed it, when you go to the interpretation column, it's for parliamentary. That was the first, I mean, when you look at it, that was what it initially was for. Then later we amended and added what? Presidential. So that tells you that, you see how we had to amend. And now, as I said, a court case said DCs to when you bribe, fine. But party primaries, you see, and let's not forget, the other lawyers said they weigh in. When it comes to criminal law, you want certainty of the law. We don't like setting traps for people. We don't, in criminal law, you don't set traps. The courts don't lightly create offenses. To create an offense, you go to parliament. Let the parliamentarians create. Then the courts interpret and enforce. Courts don't create criminal offenses lightly. So I have doubts as to what the special prosecutor can really stand on. You see, it's becoming matry makwe. Yes, we tried the Safu Kantanka one, it worked, but we would soon run out of luck. Why don't we pass it? A debate that's gone on for 20 years. So are we saying that all the lawyers who have waited, and I'm sure a lot have died, and other citizens for 20 years, we didn't know that we could stretch PNDC law 284 to cover party primaries whilst we're making these arguments for at least 20 years? Are we saying that the whole country, all the big lawyers for the past 20 years, and PNDC law 284 is a PNDC law, so before 1992, it's been there. We used it, for the district assembly elections as part of the decentralization reforms, etc., right? So are we saying that no lawyer saw that, oh, you can stretch that law to cover party primaries? Is that what we are saying? Over all these decades, no lawyer saw that we could stretch it. So there's a limit to which we can stretch. Why don't we pass a law simply to cater for what we have on our hands, party primaries? That would be better for all of us. We all want to stem the tide. And so, Mr. Okan said, that's how come, I hope it's inherent in your question. That's how come I saw that the NDC lost a very fine opportunity to, seize the moment. When Ayarga and Co. gave that beautiful statement from Parliament that no, they want an annulment. NDC should have annulled the result.
You think they could have done something different?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. It is U-turn. Yeah. I was shocked. I was like, you've taken the high moral stand. Ayarga's statement, the majority caucus said they want an annulment. The party, NDC, should have granted them, annul it, ban all of those candidates, bring fresh candidates. In any event, you have an overwhelming majority in parliament. You have 2/3. You have 2/3. So on an occasion where you have 2/3, you are not willing to it's not even sacrifice. Who says if they brought any other candidate, they would have lost? But in any event, even they were to lose that election, it's insignificant. So the NDC lost a fine opportunity to really stamp that authority. I was like, hey, is that the beginning of the decline? Yeah, is that the beginning of the decline? Because how? You guys, you have such a huge majority in parliament. So if you were even to gamble by disqualifying these people and bringing somebody who is not known and you were to lose, it's nothing. It will pale into insignificance because just losing one seat, it's nothing. But Ghana would have remembered you for leading the charges to reform the law. That's what matters, because you made nonsense of the president's incessant calls to reset. This is his legacy mandate. This is President Mohammed's legacy mandate. You got this fine opportunity, the easiest time to do such a thing, and then you blew it. So Baba Jama will work in parliament for the 3 years with a cloud over his head. He would never regain that stature. Everything is gone. Everything is gone. That seat is a tainted seat. Yeah, it's a tainted seat. If he wins it, it's tainted. It's tainted. No, Ghana is changed. You see, I keep saying, 1.7 million votes. It's not NDC votes. It's us, the floating voters, plus MPP people who joined. So our country has now integrated. really, I mean, at least we can see it. We've moved beyond the rhetorics to action. Well, a lot of MPP people and Hiagbe's people were upset. They joined and voted for you. Floating voters voted for you. Seize the moment. One seat when you have such an overwhelming majority. So I was like, politicians never disappoint. They never disappoint.
Well, the explanation from the General Secretary, which is captured the committee, no, it's no explanation.
It's no explanation.
Yes, they acknowledge that there was wrongdoing, but then again, there had to be...
You were explain tire.
No, this one.
You were explain tire.
It makes sense, and you yourself will see that it makes legal sense also.
It's not every time that
and as a lawyer, you would appreciate. And as a lawyer, you would appreciate that. You would appreciate that, and you would also appreciate the social and political sense. No, yeah. Honorable, please.
Wait.
There are bad laws. There are bad laws. It's not every law on the statute book that is good. Today, I'm sure I'm at this table because of efforts that I made. I saw bad laws, took them to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court saw and said that, yes, this is a bad law. We'll strike it down. This is a bad law. We'll strike it down. That's how come I'm here. So it tells you that it's not every law you see on the law books that is good. No, that's how come you hear us say natural law. So we measure the laws on our statute books with moral principles. So you see that I say, yes, this is a positive law passed by Parliament, but it fails to match up to the natural law principles. So it's a bad law. Let's strike it down. Let's strike it down. So we use a lot of moral concepts.
Common aspiration.
Yes, exactly. It's all part of that's what we call morality. So when people say law is different from morality, I laugh. Maybe if you want to say biblical, which is also even false, biblical morality and political morality shape law, you would find it difficult to totally divorce law from biblical morality and political morality. These two are always shaping law, and even philosophy. When we say all the authoritarian party, where did law learn it from? Lawyers learned it from their philosophers, etc. Law itself is a nascent science, okay? Very nascent. Learning a lot from the other far more developed sciences, etc. So what I'm saying is that it's not